Sigmond. Thanks for staying late. I'm really excited to be here. I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised there, and I've never been to Montana before, so this is all just so unbelievably beautiful to me. I've participated with different local galleries and art organizations in Chicago and the greater Midwest, but I've never been this far from home, so it's really exciting. My first opportunity was in a program called After School Matters, which is where I learned to paint. I'm a visual artist, and After School Matters is a not-for-profit where Chicago teens get free art classes as a way to keep them out of trouble and give them something fun to do. So I owe a lot to that program, and I went on to work there. And then I got my BFA from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Real weird, fun place. And I graduated in 2020, and since then I've been bouncing around doing a lot of different projects, just trying to find creative work where I can find it. So I've done book covers, I was in freelance animation for a bit, I was a bridal seamstress, but drawing and painting has always been my one love. And so this current year, this spring, I was Old Town Art Fair's emerging artist, and so I've been trying to go to more conventions and vend my work more, and so that's kind of what I'm doing now for my career. And my practice is always inspired by science, and just kind of how science and art are both two very interesting ways that you can try and understand the world around you. And I really like looking at papers, diagrams, books, and yeah, just kind of seeing the stories in there and finding inspiration from them. And so I've done series on a lot of different scientific background, or scientific fields, and some of them neurology, outer space, microbiology, more natural sciences, all sorts of stuff. So my drawing practice is what I think I'm going to be focused on a lot here. And I like to draw a lot of driftwood, kind of these intersections between land and water. There's a philosophy that water has memory and that it has traces of all the bodies, environments, ecosystems it's passed through. And from a more scientific standpoint, you can see, how is water altered by the different environments that it interacts with, and how is its, nutrients and small creatures changed by these places, and then how are these places changed in return from this passage. And so a lot of my drawings are about these interactions and the spaces left behind afterwards. And so I love to go hiking and take photos and then go back and draw them. And I like to kind of remove color and context and abstract these natural forms. And so these are different drawings from around the Midwest that I found while hiking. From Shawnee National Forest, there's these really gorgeous Lisa gang bands in the stone, because it was at one point an ancient, riverbed, and just kind of that flowing motion is still prevalent in the rock, millennia later, and I find that really beautiful. And I just love how when stone spends a lot of time with water, it starts to look like it even so much later. And a lot of my drawings are kind of taking that concept and making it a little weirder. I love to mess with the context, put things where they don't belong, even though all of the subject matter does exist in nature, by putting it somewhere else and taking away color and putting it somewhere where it's not meant to be. It looks like science fiction, because I love science fiction, and so this is a way to make the natural world seem more alien and exciting despite these things happening all around us. And so inspirations and influences are different artists. I love Ernst Haeckel. You guys might be familiar with him since he's a famous ecologist. Kind of a weird guy in history, but had some really amazing drawings. My painting practice is quite a bit different than my drawing practice. For painting, I love just putting as much color as I can stuff in there. And it's also inspired by science, but a lot more of, right now my painting practice is a lot more of looking at the very small and the very big and how they kind of look similar on different scales, and just how everything in the universe is reflecting itself on all levels. And so my current series is inspired by a paper written by two Italian scientists, Franco Gazza and Alberto Filippi, called The Quantitative Comparison Between the Neuronal Network and the Cosmic Web. And basically, a neurologist and a cosmologist teamed up and wrote a paper just talking about how between like a network of neurons and a galaxy, it was very similar ratios, very similar density, very similar. It grew at the same rate, and I was just really inspired by their research and their data. So I made a painting series about how I feel like the universe is one big cell, and every cell is a universe. And these are more paintings from that series, just more of a biological representation of the hermetic principle, as above, so below. I love that. And I love color when it comes to painting, just psychedelic acid color. These are some influences and inspirations. One of my best friends is currently in medical school at UIT Rockford, and so she's been passing me all sorts of great diagrams and papers from her learning. And what I'm trying to accomplish here at Flathead Lake Biological Station is I want to practice more plein air painting. It's a term for when you just find a beautiful spot, sit down, park it, and make a painting. So I'm trying to capture the natural beauty that's so everywhere here. I'd also love to study the microbiology here and see how the small communities of animals are affecting the larger ecosystems, and how even though we can't see them, I want to learn about their roles and just what's going on. And I'd love to study more of the interactions between the water and the land and how they get along here at the biostation. I love surrealism in landscapes. These are some more influences of mine, and just how being in a place like this that feels so magical, I can kind of put that influence into my artwork as well, since there is, you know, like an inherent kind of magic to a place this beautiful, and I'd love to kind of sneak in some surrealist elements to my drawings and paintings here as well. And these are some more influences of basically a mood board of what I was hoping to do here, and that's it. Thank you for staying.
Annabelle, can you name 2 of your favorite science fiction books?
Let's see. To say, number 1 is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's the book White Runner's based on. I love that one. And then Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. That one's real weird too.
Anybody else? Questions? Book club opportunities?